Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Drew Yari Show. It is Wednesday, 7/03, August the 14th. I might have already said that already. I am your host, Yari, and with me, being reintroduced, is my guest for the night.
Tyler the Trademark, nice to be on the show. How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing great. How about you, man?
Doing pretty good. Got a lot to get to tonight.
Yeah, it's been kind of a slow week as far as like wrestling goes.
Yeah, it has.
I mean, as we all know, SummerSlam happened over the weekend, and NXT, and then we had Raw and SmackDown, which, you know, not too much happened. Yeah, I mean, this should be a fun show. We'll probably knock it out in about an hour, maybe like an hour and a half, tops. Yeah, let's just get started. Do you want to start with, you just want to jump right into SummerSlam, or what do you want to do?
Sure, why not? Let's jump into SummerSlam.
Alright, I got the card up right here. Okay, SummerSlam happened this past Sunday at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The first match on the card, which was a pre-show match, Drew Gulak versus Oney Lorcan for the Cruiserweight Championship. Your thoughts?
You know, I actually didn't watch the pre-show. I barely kind of watched the pay-per-view because I was on a free live stream, and up till that point, it was going good, and then WWE kind of blocked that shit. So I'm gonna try my best. Here, going over SummerSlam with you, Drew. Sorry in advance to everybody, but from what I heard, this match was pretty decent. I know that Drew Gulak and Lorcan delivered a better match on 205 Live, probably because they got more time. They had more time on there last night than at SummerSlam. So it was good. So from what I heard, it was a decent match, and I picked Gulak to win in my SummerSlam predictions for my Trademark Extra, and I got one of those right anyway. I think I was off base most of the night on some of that stuff. And especially with the main event, which we'll get to.
Oh, yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, the Cruiserweight match, it was alright. It, kind of what you expect from these two. You know, Gulak, I like him. He's a good talent. You know, good wrestler in the ring. Lorcan, I'll be honest, this is maybe my second time seeing him wrestle. First time was he was in a tag team match in NXT, and then this one. So I liked it. I mean, it wasn't anything to go crazy about, but it was alright. It was a good way to kind of open the show. I just wish that they would have waited till the arena filled up, you know, decently to put these guys out, instead of like at, what is it, like 5:20 p.m. when like people are barely coming in.
Yeah, see that. Well, that's the killer, and that's the killer too with most of these pre-show matches. And I kind of wish WWE would kind of move away from that concept, because nobody's gonna fucking watch matches before, at 5:00 in the afternoon. So I kind of wish they do like a pre-game show type of deal, if you will, like for you know how the Super Bowl does it, where you go like live in studio or on location, or like an actual sporting event where they go live in studio, they have a studio show, and then they take you live to the arena where they hype you up for the match. Because, honestly, do these matches hype anybody up for the actual pay-per-views?
To be honest, I don't think so. I mean, kind of like what I just said. It's like they put these guys or girls, out at like literally like friggin' 5:20 when people are literally just coming in, or they're still at like the snack stand or going to the restroom or the merchandise table. This kind of segues into the next match. Where I mean, if you want to call it a match, Buddy Murphy versus Apollo Crews. I don't know if you saw this, but basically how the match ended was it was kind of continuing the storyline where what happened on SmackDown last week, where Buddy.
Yeah, I did see the angle. Yeah,
where Buddy Murphy told Roman Reigns that it was Rowan that attacked him, and then Rowan came out, during the match and attacked Murphy, which is just like you could have easily taken this match out and given the rest of that time, or you could have taken that match out and put Gulak and Oni Lorcan in that spot, so that way their match would have had a different feel to it, a much better feel.
Right. First off, on the angle. And I know we're going to get into this with SmackDown. I got into this as well when I did my SmackDown review earlier this morning. Not earlier this morning, but earlier on today. So I technically covered some of the bases here, and I'm going to talk about more with you. But overall, if you give the platform of Buddy Murphy versus Apollo Crews to on any random SmackDown, it probably would be a good match. The only problem that I kind of had with this is, again, pre-show you got like 500 people in there max, and in reality, and honestly, who's really going to watch Buddy Murphy, who hasn't been on TV, or Apollo Crews, who nobody really gives a shit about anymore anyway? And how am I supposed to get invested in that match? On top of that, I know what they did here with this, but I don't know, man. It just felt weird and out of place to continue the angle with Buddy Murphy and Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan on a fucking SmackDown pre-show. That's my only take on that.
And I think what kind of, I guess, I don't know if, I don't want to use the word sully, but like that angle literally just happened. Like it literally just happened before SummerSlam. I think the reason why a lot of people weren't too crazy about the SummerSlam card going in was like literally all these matches just like they just decided to go, okay, poof, here's our show. Like instead of building up, these matches and these storylines, they just literally just said, okay, we're going to have this match. Okay, this match has been decided. This angle we're just going to now put in going into our pay-per-view, which is supposed to be, the big four. It's supposed to be one of the big four. And usually that never happens. So
yeah, let me tell you this too: the build for this SummerSlam was either lackluster or just plain garbage, and that's not what you got throughout most of the show. Yeah, it got some pretty good praise overall from what I've seen on social media, but other than that, I mean, I think Raw and SmackDown were honestly better this week than fucking SummerSlam. So like that's kind of goes to show you how little they cared about this pay-per-view.
I agree. I mean, you would think they would do that for like their kind of like their middle of the road pay-per-views, like Clash of Champions or No Mercy. But for the big four, they usually put a lot of time and love and energy into making those cards a lot more important. But I mean, again, we'll get more into the matches as we keep talking. Third match on the pre-show, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeated the Iconics to retain the Raw Tag Team, or the Women's Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, this felt fucking random. This was just thrown together last minute, right? I mean,
pretty much.
Honestly, that's what it was. I mean, And I'm gonna reiterate here, guys. I did not watch the pre-show. I do not care about the pre-show. I think the pre-show does nothing to offer any hype whatsoever to these pay-per-views. So that's why I don't watch. But overall, I mean, I have really nothing to say other than you kind of expected Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross to go over here because they had a match with the Kabuki Warriors for the same tag team titles the night after SummerSlam, which we'll get to when we go over Raw. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, honestly, this could have been better off if it was not on the card. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they just wanted an excuse to, I guess, just add more. I guess just more names to the card, you know. It would have benefited. I don't know how to put this. Like, again, it's just a lot of these pre-show matches are just random. Kind of like, you know, most of the main card were just random. But yeah, the pre-show, I would say if any, you could have kept the cruiserweight title in the pre-show and just eliminated the other two, and it would have been just fine. Yeah, the Alexa Bliss Nikki Cross one versus the Iconics. I mean, did anyone honestly think that the Iconics would have won it back? Especially since, you know, Bliss and Cross won it on Monday.
Right. I mean, it's stupid. It shouldn't have been on the card, period. Just like Buddy Murphy and Apollo Crews. Well, I agree with you, Drew. Could have just had the Cruiserweight Championship match in the pre-show, and the rest could have been hyping up this pay-per-view. Instead, we have to have 3 useless matches that nobody's going to fucking care about because, like you said, they're either or in the concession stands, or they're going to the bathroom, or whatever, you know? I mean, but WWE needs to do a better job with these pre-shows, or just do away with them completely, because, honestly, the pay-per-views were just fine without these stupid pre-shows.
I kind of disagree with you. As far as, like, pre-shows goes, they, or let me reword that. They should keep the pre-show, they should keep the matches, but they shouldn't, like, just throw these random-ass matches onto the card.
Right.
You know, because then with Gulak and Lorcan, you know, they could have really benefited going on at, like, 5:40, you know, for example, and had a nice full packed house. But instead, they decided to throw them on, like, super early. And,
just,
you know, give Bliss and Cross, you know, that big crowd feeling. But again, you know, that's just how they operate, unfortunately. But
like, I mean, I'm going to pitch the idea again. Do a studio show that first hour. Oh yeah, you know what? Get rid of these 2-hour pre-shows. These 2-hour pre-shows are not needed.
Yes, I agree.
Just do an hour, maybe 45 minutes in a studio, and, well, all of it in the studio, really, and you can send it over to the ring and have the match before we go off the air with the pre-show. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
I'll say this too, Drew. If you're going to have a 2-hour show, at least maybe do it at WrestleMania, because that's technically your Super Bowl for wrestling, and for WWE, that's technically WWE's Super Bowl. So, just have it. If you're going to have a 2-hour pre-show, save it for WrestleMania. Don't do it with all these other shows. And I'll go back one step further too. Can we push these pay-per-views back to 8 o'clock and have them be 3 hours? Can we do that?
Well,
because like, you know what? We can stick it with the Big Four. We can stick with the Big Four. Have them go on at 7 o'clock, or the Big Four, the Big Five, whatever the fuck they're trying to do with Money in the Bank. Though I know they're trying to make that another big pay per view, but the lower level pay per views, like your Hell in a Cell, your Clash Champions, your stomping grounds. Why can't they be at 8 o'clock? Because nobody wants to watch a B or C level pay per view for 4 hours. I mean,
as far as like a company standpoint, the way they see it is, we're making a lot of money in spite of ourselves, so why not just give the people what they want, quote unquote, I'm using, quotation fingers, and give them 6 hours of wrestling. Let's give them 5 hours of wrestling. Let's give them, this much hours of wrestling. Let's give them all these matches, in one huge show.
Which that's a bad idea. You should never do that if you're running a wrestling promotion. I mean, AEW has done that for shit's sakes. We've seen AEW do that. Fight for the Fallen was too long of a fucking show. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but honestly, it's not working. They need to do something with the timing of these pay-per-views and the format, because pretty sure a lot of people forget that these shows are starting at 7 o'clock now, where traditional 8.
Yeah, I mean, because back in the day, it was always, the same format, which is, Raw would start at, over here in San Antonio, Raw would start at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. SmackDown would start at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The pay-per-views would always start at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Or sometimes, 9:40, 9:45 p.m. Nowadays, this past WrestleMania was like, 7 hours long?
Yes.
Like, that's just, they and then you're hearing reports, seeing videos where people were literally even falling asleep, during the matches. Like,
which, can you blame them? Can you blame them, though? I mean,
as much as we like wrestling, it's like we're not going to be able to sit through 7 hours of wrestling.
It's too much. It's too much.
It works the same in anything, because I fell asleep at a concert while I was standing up. Like, that's how, because it was so freaking long. And then eventually I woke up during the show, but I don't know. Again, we both agree on this, that they really need to do something about the length of these shows. For the big four, who did I see all lead gender? Oh, fuck, I'm trying to remember. It was a concert here in San Antonio called River City Rock Fest, and I believe it was Alice in Chains, and they were playing their new shit. They were playing a lot of their new stuff instead of their old school stuff, so that's what kind of shut my brain off for a bit. And then as soon as they started playing, I think Down in a Hole, that's when I woke up. Anyways, back to our conversation. Keep the big four at 3.5 hours if you want. But the minuscule, piece of shit pay-per-views, just keep them at 2 hours. Like, it's easy.
Right.
You look at NXT, and we'll talk about NXT in a bit. NXT, an average NXT pay-per-view is 2.5 hours.
Which isn't bad at length, too. And you know what? Triple H has the right idea. I know a lot of people like to shit on Triple H, too, but he has the right idea when it comes to the formats of these big shows. Keep them at 2 hours, keep them at 5 matches apiece, or 4, whatever the hell you're doing. And keep the audience wanting more. That's what the main rosters should strive to do. Instead of oversaturating everybody with this product, and the product isn't even that good right now. I mean, granted, it kind of is getting better. I think I'm seeing some improvements, but it's still kind of lackluster at times. That's... I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't, I don't know. It'll probably get that way when Vince takes over NXT, supposedly.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know how true that is, too. I mean, that's probably, another Meltzer thing, too. So, And I said this, I think last week, I think it was last week on episode 8 of the Trademark show. Or Meltzer actually fucking flat out said that Rey Mysterio has interest in AEW, which I find that hard to believe. And I know we'll get to this when we get to Raw, but they're actually doing like some sort of storyline with Rey Mysterio. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I guess we'll play armchair booker here when it comes with we get to Raw here. When it comes to the Rey Mysterio thing.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that. He's apparently like gonna make a career-altering announcement or something like that.
Oh, really?
Oh no, that's what I saw. Well, because I watched the beginning of Raw. I didn't get a chance to watch the rest of it. But I guess I saw something on storyline or not the storyline. Social media where he, saying I got a lot to think about. I got to think about my family, A, B, C, and D. So, all elite gender. He says losing streak and retirement storyline. That's
what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean,
that's what it sounds like to me. So he's not. So to all the AEW idiots out there that are fucking creaming no pants about Rey Mysterio joining up with AEW. It ain't happening. Keep it in your dreams. It ain't fucking happening. He's right at home with WWE. Matter of fact, I think he's training Dominic in the Performance Center with his son, and so he can go up to the WWE someday soon. So that's why Rey's there. He has a home in WWE.
I personally think he would really benefit going to I was about to say AEW, but 205 Live or NXT. Like that would really help.
I kind of like to see Ray at 205 Live because they actually do need something over there. They need star power. We're bad in that fucking brand. So I could probably see Ray in 205 Live. I can also see Gargano going to 205 Live too if he leaves NXT because they need faces. They need stars. I think.
Well, isn't it 205 Live supposedly ending by the end of the year?
Who knows? Who really knows?
I don't know. That's what I read. Like, I think a couple months ago they announced that 205 Live they're not really drawing anyone, and they're supposedly gonna, or what's it called? They're supposed to shut down by the end of the year, which I kind of hope they don't.
That's a play. That sounds like a play-by-ear story, though. So wait and see what happens, and then we'll probably come back and talk about it, and then I'll talk about it further on my show, and we'll see what happens from there. But I don't know if they're actually gonna take 205 Live off the air completely. They should actually build up off it, though, instead of, trying to take it down. Fuck that shit. Move 205 Live to Full Sail. That would be a lot better for them, in my honest opinion. That would be a lot better for them.
Yeah, the Full Sail crowd, that NXT crowd, they seem like they would appreciate 205 Live more than than the SmackDown crowd, that 205 fucking
and plus too, if you think about it, Cruiserweight Classic originated from Full Sail. It aired from Full Sail. Oh, so I mean, why not? If you want to revamp 205 Live, why not?
Yeah, like I said, Ray, I think he would really benefit his career and also benefit NXT. Or 205 Live. 205 Live needs stars. It needs names. But putting Gargano in 205 Live, it would be huge because you have the NXT. The NXT faithfuls that love NXT. They're gonna finally see him on, I guess, somewhere on the main roster because lately they've been mixing a lot of the 205 Live guys, with Raw or SmackDown guys like Cedric Alexander, Buddy Murphy, who they said on SmackDown that he's no longer a 205 Live guy. So I like how they're mixing the 205 Live guys with the main roster, because before it was almost like, like 205 Live was, separate from the main roster. Like they were completely separate, to where they didn't even really mention it on the show. Like they would feature them on the show, but they would, keep them separated from the main roster guys, which I always thought was kind of weird. But now they're featuring them a lot more. This past Monday, you had Cedric versus Drew McIntyre, which I didn't get a chance to watch, but I heard it was actually a really good match.
That was a good match. It really was. Drew, do yourself a favor. When we go off the air, watch that match, because that was actually a pretty good match. Those two actually have good chemistry together. And Roman Reigns and Buddy Murphy, same thing. We saw two great. Honestly, we saw two great TV matches on both brands this week, and honestly, I mean, that's gonna build your product for the battle in the long run. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, like again, I saw the Roman and Murphy match earlier. We'll get into that after we're done with Summerslam, if we ever get to the main card. All right, so
we need to get to this main card here. Oh my god!
So first match on the main card for Summerslam: Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Submission match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Becky won by submission. I honestly like this match. I thought it was really good. I thought it was good back and forth. Toronto was very, they were very pro Becky. They didn't really cheer Natalya that much. I liked it. It was solid. You had two great in-ring competitors. Becky is obviously the over one between the two, and Natalya, as much shit as we give Natalya for, I guess, other reasons that don't really have to do with wrestling, she can go. When the light's on, she can go out there and really put out a good match. I saw a lot of people on social media not really liking this match that much.
This match was actually, I don't know, I like this match. I'm with you. I enjoyed this match for what it was. Obviously, the Toronto crowd isn't going to give two shits about Natalya, because nobody really cares about Natalya. Natalya hasn't really been over in like 10 years, if at all, so like, and I kind of feel bad, which is odd, because Canada, I kind of thought they'd be more pro Natalya, more behind Natalya, because of her family legacy and stuff. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're fucking reminded of that every week, every time we see them on fucking television. But they were pro Becky. And honestly, I kind of got a kick of them actually using each other's submission holds, like Becky using the sharpshooter, Natty using the disarm over. I thought that was a nice touch to that match, but obviously, I kind of thought Natalya was going to win this match, to be completely honest with you, because there was no way that Becky Lynch was going to hold that title past SummerSlam, even if Ronda Rousey was on, still with the roster, was still on TV and shit. But after Monday, I think Becky Lynch's title reign may be coming to an end.
I have a feeling that Becky might hold on to the title until Mania. And
no.
Let me explain why. Here's what I think is going to happen. Well, let me kind of break that apart. Here's what I think is going to happen, but here's what I think WWE might end up doing, which will probably happen. I think Ronda will win the Royal Rumble and go on to face Becky, which is what the match should have been at Mania. But they need something for Charlotte to do. And, there's your WrestleMania match, Becky versus Ronda, and Ronda gets her title back. That's what I think might happen. what I think, will more than likely happen, which is they're probably going to hotshot that match like at Survivor Series or, Royal Rumble or one of their bullshit pay-per-views. But the way they're treating, this Becky title run is she's going to run through everybody, and then as soon as she gets to Ronda's going to get her heat back. Ronda's going to get her title back.
See, I respectfully disagree with you on that, only because I can't see WWE doing a long-term title reign for Becky Lynch. Her title run is so boring, so lackluster. It's honestly just sad to watch at this point, and quite frankly, I could see her losing it at Clash of Champions to what is probably going to be Sasha Banks, because they got to build that heel. I really think that. Hear me out on that.
Okay, good.
Sasha just turned heel.
Okay.
Sasha just turned heel on Monday. So, what I would like to see happen is them actually riding the ship, riding the ship with Sasha, and have her be this, bitch boss heel that she was in NXT, because we all know how great of a character that was. And just have that on the main roster, but holding the Raw Women's Championship until. And I really don't think Ronda Rousey is going to get another title shot. I think Ronda Rousey, and she even said this herself, Ronda Rousey does not need that title. She really doesn't. She doesn't need a title to cement herself. She already has the name alone. So, just by having her on TV makes that it does make the women's division a whole hell of a lot more important. And it makes people talk about the women's division because of Ronda Rousey. And because of Becky Lynch. It's not because of Sasha Banks. It's not because of Bayley or any other woman on the roster. And what's that tell you? What does that tell you about how WWE books this? I mean, honestly.
Well, the way I see it is like, Trez was on the show, a couple weeks ago. She pointed out that it just seems like you see the same women on TV.
Because you do. Because you do. I mean, because Vince has his favorites. That's what it is.
Yeah, there's Becky, there's Charlotte, Bayley, and now Sasha's back. Eventually, Ronda's going to be back. Question: where the hell has Lacey Evans been?
I have no idea. Probably in the same room where Baron Corbin's been hiding. He is coming back. He is coming back Monday for the King of the Ring tournament. So there you go.
Yeah, because they were literally in the main event of a pay-per-view, and then ever since then, it's just like you can't find them. You need.
I'm all right with it though. Because
I don't give a fuck about Baron Corbin, but Lacey Evans is they went out of their way to make her a thing, and now she's nowhere to be found. She's just making random Instagram videos with Liv Morgan. That's about it.
And she's doing, and she might be doing jobs as well for main event. So
wait, that's still a show?
Yes.
What the fuck? Who the fuck watches that?
No idea, man. No idea. Well, if you watch Raw live, then that's your pre-show.
Wow.
That's honestly it, because I've been in enough of these things to know that. Okay, so when Superstars were still a thing.
Yeah.
When I went to Raw in Pittsburgh, when Raw came to Pittsburgh, I would sit down, take my seat, and I'd watch as WWE Superstars was on.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh fuck, they taped this on the night of Monday Night Raw? Holy shit.
Yeah, because I remember main event. I just didn't think it was still on, because I remember, I'd be going to Raw too, and what's it called? Yeah, I'd be at Raw, and this would be like at Raw would start at 7, and then you'd have like the announcer come and be like, "Welcome to main event, and this is your pre-show A, B, C, and D," and then they would tape that, and then they would get set up for Raw. It's just like, wow.
Because you see the spoilers all the time on like your Wrestling Incs. of the world and stuff like that. You see the spoilers all the time, but like, yeah, I'm with you. I don't know who watches main event unless you're like in attendance at that show. I really don't know why you're watching fucking main event at this point. I remember with them actually trying to do something with that show. What they like?
Because I remember when they started. When they brought back Superstars again. They tried to make that into something worth watching. Because I think like the first couple weeks it was like, do you want to watch The Undertaker versus Shelton Benjamin? And then after that it was like, hey, watch Zack Ryder versus Fuckface McGee. Yeah,
it's just like, and I think it may be because the big old names probably don't want to make 2 appearances, or I don't know if it's their call. That might be a Vince call, truth be told, because I actually remember when main event first started out, it was a champion versus champion match with CM Punk and Sheamus.
Yeah,
and that actually kicked off the show. And then the other 2 matches were basically just fucking scrubs off the street, like Colt Hawkins and fucking some Joe Schmo over there. Like it's just it's really goofy, man. And honestly, I'm with you. Who still watches main event? Like honestly, like anybody in the chat room. Raise of hands. Do you watch main event if you're listening live? Do you watch main event? Because I sure as hell don't. I know it's still on Hulu. I know that show is still on Hulu, and I think it might be on the WWE network too. I'm not really quite sure about that, but I think it might be on the WWE network also.
Next match: Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler.
I hate to stop you. I hate to stop you, by the way, but I've seen All Elite Gender's comment on here. He said if NXT goes to 2 hours, they can mix in the 205 Live guys. Yeah, they could. I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all.
I mean,
they need something if they.
Why didn't they do it in the first place? Like, have. Trying to think of who the fuck's in 205 Live. Sure.
Oney Lorcan, obviously. Gulak, obviously, because he's the champion. Jeez. I don't know who really else. I mean, Humberto, what the Fuckface McGee? I have no idea what the hell is. I forget his name. Humberto Guerrero, or what the fuck, or whatever his name is. Let me look that up, actually.
Yeah, I literally have no idea who. What's up, Sasha? I literally have no clue who the hell is in 205 Live besides, like, I guess, the ones that they actually advertise. But, yeah, I can't really think of anyone who's in 205 Live. But, like when 205 Live first started, when they had, Neville or, who's Rich Swann. There you go. Rich Swann. Guys like them, you could have easily mixed that with NXT. Those would have been good matches. Neville versus Johnny Gargano. Yeah, that would have been an awesome match to watch. But sadly, he's no longer here. But
here's something weird. Go ahead. They don't have a listing for the 205 Live guys. They just have listings. If you go on WWE's actual website, they have an option of all current superstars, over all superstars. Oh, wait, yeah, they do. Oh, shit, I didn't scroll up. I didn't scroll down far enough. Okay. Yeah, here's the 205 Live roster. Akira Tozawa.
Okay.
Arya Daivari.
Okay.
Drake Maverick, of course, the GM, and also hunting down the 24/7 championship, even as we speak. Cruiserweight champion Drew Gulak, of course. Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Grand Metalik. Well, basically all the members of Lucha House Party. Metalik, Kalisto, Dorado, and what the hell is his name? I think that might be it, actually, for the Lucha House Party. I'm sure. I don't think there's a fourth member. Humberto Carrillo. Yeah, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews. Shit.
I think Sasha Baron Corbin might have posted the link in the chat.
Yeah, I'm actually scrolling through this now, actually. Mark Andrews, Mike Kanellis, Nigel McGuinness, of course, he's the commentator for 205 Live. Noam Dar, holy fuck. God, I'm actually amazed that Noam Dar is still with the company.
I'm amazed by, most of the people that are still with the company.
That is true. Of course, you got the Singh brothers, Early Jindal's boys. The Brian Kendrick, which he's basically in a mentorship role at this point.
Pretty much. Of
his career, and Tony Nese. And Vic Joseph, who is the, of course, lead commentator for 205 Live.
All right,
yeah, I mean, that's your 205 Live. Not a lot of people on that roster. I mean, I know they have probably people migrating here and there, but I need more substance on that roster. They need more, because obviously the loss of Alexander and Buddy Murphy, and hell, I'm going to even go one step further, Mustafa Ali. That kind of hurt them a lot, too. I mean, losing those guys hurt tremendously. But, yeah, I mean, they need more substance, but gotta move on from this. We gotta keep going with this main card here for SummerSlam.
Alright, next match, which hopefully this should take shorter than the actual match. Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. Goldberg won.
It was to be expected. I mean, what were you talking about that too on the show? Or it was going to be all this match was going to be. It was going to be Spiel, jackhammer, pin, and win.
I honestly thought it could have really. I was about maybe because I'm looking at the time a minute 50.
That's all it was.
I was about 10 seconds off because it kind of went the way I thought it was going to be. That Dolph was going to get some offense in and go after Goldberg, and then Goldberg was just going to spear the shit out of Dolph twice, which I think he did. And then he, jackhammer wins the match. And then after the match, Dolph gets on the mic and calls Goldberg a dipshit. And, Goldberg comes out again, spears him. Dolph gets on the mic again, talks more shit, and then Goldberg spears him again. And I believe the third time he came out and, speared him again and then just left.
Ziggler did sell the shit out of that spiel, though.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was saying when I was on Julian's show last week was that, Dolph will sell the shit out of anything. Like, Dolph's gonna make anyone's shit look good. That's I guess that's the one of few compliments you can give to Dolph at this moment, which is he will sell the shit out of any move.
Right.
He'll go out there and give you a good match, but that's about it when it comes to Dolph at this point. But this you weren't really expecting too much out of this match. The talk about Goldberg, when it comes to Paul Heyman being in charge of Raw, is that Paul Heyman wants to treat Goldberg as an attraction, kind of like Bruno Sammartino back in the 80s, where he was just brought in as, as an attraction, someone to sell tickets and work with the younger talent. So basically, the way it sounds.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, honestly, that's how Goldberg should be treated. He shouldn't have. He really shouldn't have went out there and embarrassed himself the way he did at Saudi Arabia. I mean, we understand why he did. I mean, fuck. I mean, what was it? There was a report that came out. Goldberg made like fucking $1 million off of that fucking embarrassment of a match with Undertaker.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Goldberg, and I'm glad he came back at SummerSlam. Because him and Taker wanted to right that wrong. Taker righted that wrong at Extreme Rules. Goldberg came back and righted that wrong because the mistake that they made with Goldberg in the past, when he came to WWE's first run, was they tried to make him actually go out there and wrestle. Be a mat wrestler, which was not Goldberg at all. Like, his whole thing is he dominates. He's a power guy. He beats the shit out of people, he picks them up, he throws them across the ring, spears them. That's it. When they brought him back for a second run, it was the right thing to do, but when they just pretty much had him go out there and, make Kevin Owens look like a complete bitch, that's when you kind of just went, this is not working at all. Can we just see Goldberg just, have his big Mania match and leave? Goldberg did not need to be the Universal Champion at all.
I agree.
That did not need to happen. But, to have Goldberg in this role, to just, have him go out there and just work for about a minute or two and then spear, jackhammer, and then go home, that's fine. That works for me. A lot of these older guys, give them better roles. Don't have them go out there and try and, chain wrestle or, work for 30 minutes. Just put them in better roles. Joey Numbers always says on Wrestling Soup, if you're going to bring back Taker, have him be in a tag match. If you're going to bring back another legend, have him be in a tag match. You know what I mean? But what happened?
I was losing connection now. Don't know why.
Yeah, I was kind of worried. I heard somebody drop off. I'm like, oh shit, what happened to Trademark? But, with Goldberg, the role that they're putting him in right now, just have him go out there and just work with younger talent. Just sell tickets. That's
how I would do it. That's exactly how I do it.
That's fine with me. And, just never put a title on him ever again.
Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar too is another one. I don't really need to see the Universal title on him ever again. I'll just see him as an attraction. I hope Paul Heyman does that as well with Lesnar, because Lesnar should be an attraction. I know he's younger than Goldberg. I know that, but at this point in Lesnar's career, Lesnar should be just that, an attraction.
Yeah, again, you're doing more harm than good when you're giving a lot of the old kind of the seasoned wrestlers, the part timers, in these big spots. Because I get it, you want to appease, the casuals, but for the casuals, they just see, okay, so Brock Lesnar is the only guy that matters in this company. He's the champion. He's the top guy. Yada yada yada. So why am I supposed to give a shit about Kofi Kingston? Why am I supposed to give a shit about Seth Rollins? Why am I supposed to give a shit about this guy? When you make when you make your actual full timers look good, that's what's going to help them. I'm not saying they always need to win. I'm not saying have Johnny Gargano beat Brock Lesnar. I'm saying make him look good. Don't make him look like a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyways, let's move on from this match. Next match is AJ Styles defeating Ricochet for the United States Championship, retaining his United States Championship. I really think this. I'm hoping this is the last time we see these two. I love AJ Styles. He's one of my favorites. I like Ricochet. He looks like he's getting better. Not that he was ever bad, but as we all know, Ricochet's whole thing is flip, kick,
dive.
Dive. You gotta say it in the Randy Orton way. dive.
Yeah. Dive.
But, yeah, Ricochet, I like him. He looks like he's starting to get a little better. You know, he has the crowd on his side. But, you know, I'm hoping AJ can move on from this feud and go against someone else, which apparently he is. He's going to apparently feud with Braun, which we'll get into a little bit later. But,
this was the right result, though, I believe, in this match, because they're trying to build up the OC as something. They're trying to build them up as a legitimate, credible threat to the roster. The only problem with that is, though, is that you have championships on them that nobody gives a fuck about. I mean, when was the last time you actually cared about the United States Championship or the Raw Tag Team Championships? You know, like, that's their only flaw there, but honestly, at least WWE is putting in effort in these guys this time around, whereas, remember, 3 years ago, they were kind of the mechanism for AJ Styles' feud with Cena, and then they broke them up during the first draft of the second brand split run, but yeah, I like the effort. I like that they're trying to do something with these guys finally after 3 years. Is it 3 years too late still? Sure, but you know what? If you can add Finn Balor into the group when he comes back from his hiatus, then go right ahead.
I mean, it could be Finn Balor, it can even be someone else. But yeah, I think what can really benefit this faction is if you add more people. Like, don't just have the same 3 guys, because it's now starting to, in my opinion, it loses luster a little bit. Because it's like, okay, it's the same 3 guys. What is this? Is it a trio or is it an actual faction? Bring in more people. That's what, like D-Generation X, it went from being just Shawn and Triple H to being Chyna, and then you had Rick Rude into the group, and then eventually you had X-Pac, you had, the New Age Outlaws. With this faction, especially since Eric Bischoff is, in a part of SmackDown, and he has a long history when it comes to factions. You're gonna want to add more people into this group, and by add more people, add people that are right for the group. Don't just add some random ass people into the group.
You know what though? How random would it be though if they added Shinsuke Nakamura into the group?
Well, that would make sense because they have a history. Because they all wrestle together in Japan. So that's kind of
like that's kind of how I'd break it down too. Is a lot like I'd have your original 3 members, which is obviously Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles, but add Finn Balor to the group because of the obvious history there with the Bullet Club representation with Finn Balor, and Finn Balor, of course, being the first leader of the Bullet Club. And like you said, Shinsuke Nakamura, because of the history there with Japan and all that stuff. So and Nakamura could really probably use that rub because he ain't really getting over on his own. Now, I know that's not really his fault. That's more on WWE for anything else, because he was supposed to have that feud with Ali, and then that got scrapped for whatever fucking reason. So now he's basically sitting there collecting dust again. Same thing with Mustafa Ali, but I'd add him to that group too. Like, I'd probably add him into the mix. Finn Balor, of course, obviously. Can't really think of anything else that's right for the picking in that group, though. I really can't, unless you bring up fucking Kushida, but that wouldn't work either, because he was after AJ and Finn already left, and Gallows and Anderson. He was after they already left, and Kushida was there when a time when, the leaders of the Bullet Club were Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes and the rest of the. So,
who would be a really interesting choice? And I just thought of this right now. Aleister Black. And let me explain why.
Oh, shit.
Because his whole thing about, I want somebody to come knock at my door. Somebody needs to come knock at my door. Who knocks at his door? AJ. With a really hard-to-pass-up offer. To be a part of a club. the only club that matters. So that could be a promo, that somebody came knocking and they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse.
But see, here's the thing, too. Aleister Black is that one character, though, and I know WWE has kind of dropped the ball on him a little bit with, what they've been doing with him lately and all that stuff, having him go back to these fucking darkroom promos, which are just annoying as fuck now.
Yes.
But he still has that mystique to him. He still has that, aura to him that he still kind of had in NXT. So, I don't know, man. I think it kind of sounds good on paper to have Black in the OC, but at the end of the day, I really don't think it's going to benefit him at all. Matter of fact, I think that just would kill his entire character.
I don't know. I think it'd be a good choice. But, moving on from this, Bayley versus Ember Moon for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This crowd could not have given any more of a fuck about this match.
Could you blame them?
They were quiet.
Could you fucking blame them, though? I mean...
Toronto crowds are usually, pretty good about any match, but... They did not care about this match at all. But here's
why.
Yes.
I hate to interrupt you, but here's why. WWE did not do a good job at building this match. They especially didn't do a good job at building Ember Moon up to be a legit number one contender for Bayley.
Yeah.
They just didn't. I mentioned that time and time again on, the reviews that I did for SmackDown and... of course, the actual flagship show, but they did not do a good job with Ember at all, and it kind of continued Tuesday with, her losing to Charlotte, which that was expected, but I don't know, man, it just kind of proves that they don't know what to do with Ember Moon. And basically, as it stands now, to me, Ember Moon is a jobber. She's a fucking jobber.
You know what I compare this match to is the NXT women's match, or the women's championship match on a TakeOver with Shayna and Mia Yim. I compare it to the fact that, Mia Yim, I like Mia Yim, but the crowd doesn't see her as a star. The crowd didn't see her as a star at TakeOver at all. All they saw was this woman, woman wearing baggy pants. She had a bandana over her mouth. They just didn't see her as a star. She wasn't ready. She's very talented, but she just wasn't ready for that spot. Same thing. I said that in my
NXT TakeOver predictions too. She wasn't ready for that spot. She really wasn't.
Same thing with Ember Moon. Is that, again, I love Ember Moon, but the one thing I said in my predictions was, what is Ember Moon's character supposed to be exactly? I don't know what her character is supposed to be. Is she supposed to be Black Vampire? Is she supposed to be a werewolf? I don't get her character, and I think...
But see, here's the deal. That's WWE's job to tell us who Ember Moon is as a character. And for whatever reason, they don't want to give us who she is, what she is, why she's here. They don't want to do that because they probably don't see any potential in her. Which is bullshit, if you ask me, because she has all the talent in the world. She's good in the ring.
Oh,
she really is.
Absolutely. She can wrestle. She can certainly wrestle, but again, the crowd is confused. They have no idea who this lady is supposed to be. And when what would be good?
What would be good for her though? You know what would be good for her?
Go ahead.
I think if they do this right, a heel Ember Moon could probably work. If they just use it, that right, and I know they probably don't want to do. They don't want to do that either because they just toned Sasha heel, and everybody kind of likes Ember Moon, but like you said, they don't know what she is. They don't know, and that's WWE, and that's WWE's fault because they dropped the ball with her. She's been up here for what, 2 years now?
Yes.
Tops. So. And from all that time, what has she done besides sitting catering? Exactly.
Pretty much nothing.
WWE hasn't done a good job. WWE hasn't done a good job at building her character, and this is where vignettes come into play too. They should have had vignettes for Ember Moon when she debuted, and better yet too, they could have did this again, during this whole entire build for her Women's Championship match with Bayley, and instead they had her job out to Alexa Bliss. They had her look fucking weak as shit against Natalya in the Go Home show, by the way, for SmackDown, for SummerSlam, mind you, for SmackDown Live. And basically, that's just, and honestly, that kills a character. That kills any type of momentum whatsoever. And for Ember Moon, unfortunately, she didn't really have any momentum going into this match, and that's why nobody cared, and I can't really blame them. It sucks because Bayley and Ember Moon probably had a decent match at best, but they could have had a better match if the crowd was into it, if the right storyline was there, which obviously it wasn't. There was no storyline, it was just a match. That's all it was. And that's not going to get you forward.
Yeah, and anytime a match doesn't really have a story to it, you get indifference, and that's probably the worst thing as any performer you can get is indifference, because you can get booed, you can get cheered, but you don't ever want indifference, like at all. Next match, Kevin Owens defeated Shane McMahon. The stipulation was if Kevin Owens had lost, he would have had to quit WWE. Elias was brought in as a special guest enforcer. I agree with Mish on this. Kevin Owens winning didn't really do anything for him. I mean, it kept him storyline wise in the company, but it didn't really do anything for him, because at least for Shane, he would have gotten something out of it. That. What makes a storyline work is when someone can get something out of it. Kevin Owens winning, what exactly did he win? The match was okay. It was actually rather quick. I thought it would have benefited, this match to be maybe like an Extreme Rules match or a no DQ match, but they just made it a straight up wrestling match, and they added somewhat of a gimmick in it. They put in Elias. But, again, the match just went by really quick. Owens won. But, again, he won, but he didn't really win anything.
Yeah, I see Mish's point, and I see your point to that as well. But let me ask you this. Kevin Owens basically signed for 5 years for the WWE, correct?
Yes.
So, him, quote unquote, quitting the company. What was the end game there in the long run for that storyline if Shane won? Because really, if you think about it, Shane winning another match on a big time pay-per-view against a babyface opponent, that would have gotten a ton of go-away heat for Shane McMahon. Now, Shane McMahon still has go-away heat. Don't get me wrong, he still does. But, and I know we're gonna get to this for when we go to SmackDown Live. But from what I'm kind of seeing now too, it's gonna be probably the Shane McMahon revenge tour for Kevin Owens. McMahon is pissed off that he lost in that fashion. They basically opened up the storyline, a new chapter to the storyline with Kevin basically announcing his intentions for King of the Ring, of course, and well, I'll give you my full thoughts when we get to SmackDown Live.
Well, I'm saying the end game could have been, that they really would have won out of their way to make this look legit. Because, again, we know Kevin Owens is, signed a new deal with WWE. We know he's not really fired. We know he didn't really quit. What they could have done was have, Kevin Owens just leave after the show and Shane say he's we're not going to let him in the building because we don't allow ex-employees into our building, and blah, blah, blah. He's no longer on the alumni. He's no longer on our main roster page. He's on the alumni section. And then, have the announcers, not even mention him.
Sure.
Treat him like he doesn't exist. And then...
Let
me get to my point. But, basically, kind of similar to the Matt Hardy and Edge situation, where they brought in a real-life storyline, and then you just randomly see Matt Hardy appear on TV and beat up Edge, but you make it look like it's something that's actually happening. And then you have the announcers go, wait, who's that? Could it be? It can't be. Do that with Kevin Owens. Have Kevin Owens randomly appear on TV, in the back or during the show, and have the announcers go, wait, that's got to be our ex-employee. That's got to be ex-WWE superstar Kevin Owens, or whatever. Treat it like it's real, when most of us know it's a storyline. That's how you could have treated it.
Right. And see, but Hugh and Mish are, and myself for that matter as well, we all know that WWE doesn't think these things ahead of time. They really don't. See, you and I could basically go into a creative. See, you and I, and Mish for that matter as well, we could walk into that creative meeting and basically pitch that idea, and it wouldn't get through. It would not get through because it's Idle Vince's right of the highway. What I think WWE thought was, okay, so we're gonna give Kevin Owens a big win in his home country of Toronto, with his family watching at ringside, and we're gonna continue this shitty storyline. The SmackDown after SummerSlam, probably gonna have him get fucked over in the King of the Ring tournament, which, that's gonna happen. So, and I actually predict it's gonna be the first King of the Ring the first match that he's probably gonna get eliminated. Who he faces, I have no idea. But they could have, you're right, they could have done that. They should have done that. You, Mish, and everybody else is probably saying that they could have done that. They should have done that, actually. But I kind of see why they were kind of hesitant to that, too, because of how negative that crowd reaction would have been if they gave Shane McMahon another win in a major program.
Yeah, because the way you looked at it, you had three big Canadian stars on the roster, or on the show. You needed at least one of them to win because WWE, they're weird about letting people win in their own hometown. So the way they saw it was we got to at least let one of them win, and they gave it to Kevin Owens. Which, again, right. I predicted that. I predicted Trish would have lost, and I predicted Charlotte would have lost, and that they're just going to give it to Kevin Owens.
Charlotte? Now you mean?
Oh fuck yeah! I'm sorry. I predicted Charlotte would have won and Becky would have won, and that Kevin Owens would have won. But
yeah.
Anyway.
That's how I predicted, and that's how I predicted it myself. So that's basically how it went down. Is that Trish put over Charlotte, which she should have, and Natty. Well, I thought Natty would. Well, then again, I thought Natty would have beat Becky to get that home crowd pop or whatever the fuck, but. They probably were going to do that, but apparently this show was being rewritten by Vince McMahon when the show was still going on, so I don't know.
Next match, Charlotte Flair defeated Trish Stratus by submission, singles match. I really like this match. It had a slow start to it, which was kind of expected, because Trish, she hasn't had a singles match since 2006, and that was actually her retirement match at Unforgiven against Lita, which was actually...
And that was her first match, and that was her first in-ring competition since last year at Evolution.
Yeah.
So that was to be expected also. So I don't really got the people that were bitching because Trish looked terrible. From what I've seen, she looked pretty good.
Yeah, she looked
and
really
good. And you know what, too? She got a good send. She got a nice send-off at the end. Probably could have had a better send-off, but she had
a better exit than her entrance. Like when she made her entrance to the crowd, it seemed like the crowd wasn't too up in arms as she was there. Because it's like, and it kind of makes sense because like I said about this pay-per-view, it just seemed like they just threw everything in this match or in this pay-per-view event instead of giving it time to to build up.
Like the Becky Emble match. This match felt like it was thrown together, whereas you could have built up this match a month in advance. You could have had Charlotte basically say, "Hey, I'm the greatest of all time, and I basically beat everybody in this division." And I'll come, and then of course Trish Stratus' music plays. Then Trish Stratus is the one that lays down the challenge instead of Charlotte laying down the challenge, which that was fucking weird as shit as well. Why was Charlotte the one begging for a match with Trish Stratus and not the other way around? I know Mish actually said that as well. So, and I agree with him. Why wasn't this the other way? Why wasn't this the other way around? Why couldn't it? Like I said, why couldn't this been built a month in advance? And have Charlotte say that she ran through everybody, she's beaten everybody in the women's division. Nobody could stand to a level. Nobody's up to a level. And then, of course, out comes Trish Stratus. Stratus says, "You haven't beaten me, and you won't beat me." And then challenges her to, of course, the same match we saw at SummerSlam.
Like how I would have booked it was Trish just randomly appears backstage. And, she's talking to all the girls, and she's giving them advice. All of a sudden, you see Charlotte come out and be like, "Oh, it's Trish Stratus, WWE Hall of Famer." Yada, yada, yada. Charlotte doing her typical, bitchy heel thing. And just talking shit to Trish, saying, "This is my locker room now. This isn't yours anymore. This isn't 2005. This is my locker room, so get the hell out." And then Trish just kind of gives her a look like, whatever, and just walks away. And then she appears later on in the show, like she's in the crowd. And then Charlotte just goes up to her, talks a little bit of shit, and smacks her. And that's when you have security just, restrain Trish. So you build this up for weeks of Charlotte pretty much try to egg on Trish, like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to fight me because I'll beat the shit out of you. And then Trish doing the whole, "I'm retired. I'm not going to fight you. I'm a mom. I got responsibilities. I can't get back in the ring." But something prompts Trish to just go, "You know what, bitch? I'm going to beat the shit out of you at SummerSlam. You and me. We'll see who's the better wrestler."
Either way, Trish would have gotten a better crowd reaction from both of our bookings than she actually did.
Yeah,
and it's sad. It's sad because Trish Stratus is the greatest. Like, she really is the greatest, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. In the 2000s, I should say, in the 2000s era, she came from an era where it was basically all broad panties matches and mud matches and all that quote-unquote sexist bullshit. But in all actuality, at the end of the day, she really didn't get a crowd reaction, and it like I said, it was sad. It's sad, man. But honestly,
she was able to get it back during the match because she kind of woke the crowd up. I think she kind of woke herself up too because, again, the first part of the match she seemed a little bit off. I think somebody pointed out that she was selling so well that the referee was even confused. Like, the referee was even going, "Hey, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just selling." Like that. That's how great. Like, that's how good she is. Like, that's how she's able to command, a ring. But overall, I thought the match was good. I thought it was a really good match. It was predicted that Charlotte would win. There's no reason why Trish should have won.
And that's another reason why she didn't really get a good crowd reaction either. Everybody kind of knew the score that Charlotte was going to be the one that goes over here, and she did. So, you know what, though? Right went over. Good match. Like you said, good match. And basically this helps out Charlotte in the longer run because she could say, hey, I beat Trish Stratus. There you go. And I'm also the queen of all eras.
There you go. Next match, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. Singles match for the WWE Championship. Ended in a double countout. That was a bad idea. What I thought
it was weird. It was a weird decision.
What I thought would have happened was, I said Kofi would win, but in like he would, pull Randy in a small package, or he would do something. I don't think they would have let Kofi go over, Randy clean. Like, something would have had to happen. Because, that's just what I thought would have happened. I get why they did what they did here. It just did not look right, especially on a Big Four pay-per-view like SummerSlam. And not even just a Big Four pay-per-view. It's basically... SummerSlam is supposed to be your summer WrestleMania, so to speak. The biggest party of the summer, Tyler.
It's supposed to be your second... Yeah, SummerSlam is supposed to be your second WrestleMania. If this was WrestleMania, we would be bitching to the moon, and I know people were bitching because of this result. We'd be doing the same thing with this result if it was at WrestleMania. Yeah, I don't really get I don't get the logic. Why would you do a double count out? And then at the end, of course, you see Kofi Kingston just beat the ever-living shit out of Randy Orton with that kendo stick. So that leads me to believe that it's probably going to be a no DQ match of some kind at Clash of Champions, because Randy Orton's going to get the rematch.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the type of ending you would do for a Clash of Champions or a No Mercy. You don't do it for one of your Big Four, and it ended in a double count for a dumb reason, because Randy was looking at Kofi's son. And Kofi's son could not have given two fucks. Like they even showed a still. Somebody put up a still of that match where it looked like Kofi's son was ready to square up with Randy. like that's the way it looked. And Kofi got pissed off and went after Randy because of that. So, again, it was the wrong decision to have that go to no.
I wouldn't have done it. I personally wouldn't have done that. I mean, it's stupid. Honestly, how does that benefit Kofi Kingston's title reign any further? Besides the fact that we know the title run stinks.
And it's not particularly Kofi's fault. It's how they're booking it.
It's not. I mean, and Mish even said this too. Kofi Kingston should have been the People's Champion.
Yes.
He should have been, the champion of the people. That's how they were building him up before his match with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. I don't know what the hell they were doing all this time with Kofi Kingston, all this title run, but his title run would have been more remembered, in my opinion, if he was the champion of the people instead of, having him try to be a badass while throwing pancakes, and it just doesn't. It's not a good fit. It's not a good fit.
So by people's champion, do you mean like a Dusty Rhodes type champion?
Maybe. Basically, I don't know. Basically, I don't want to compare him to anybody, though. I would have just had Kofi be himself, be who he is as the WWE champion, be humble and grateful and, just happy that he's finally up on top. That's how they should have went about it, instead of what they've been doing for the past 6 months with him.
Yeah, it's, again, it's only a matter of time before they give that title to Roman.
And I think they're gonna. You know what? They're probably gonna do that at probably the 20th anniversary of SmackDown when they move to Fox. Because we'll probably get to that news, and if we ever get done with the SummerSlam card.
You know, and I have a theory, and you're probably not going to like it. I think it's going to be Kofi versus Roman at WrestleMania.
Nah, I can't really. I can't see him holding that WWE title for that long.
I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him.
No,
doing that.
I wouldn't. I don't see it. I mean, honestly, it's just Kofi Kingston's our face for SmackDown Live. I don't know, and I think whoever's the champion, it's probably going to be a directive for Fox, and Fox probably wants Roman Reigns as the top guy, and honestly, Randy Orton, he's a top guy himself. He's a name. So my best bet is that they put the title on Randy Orton at Clash Champions. I hate saying that, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously they don't want Kofi Kingston beating this guy any further. But maybe we see Kofi beat Randy Orton at Clash Champions, and we see him drop the title to Prime Roman at the 20th anniversary of SmackDown, which, of course, is the premiere on Fox October 4th. So we'll see what happens. We'll play the wait-and-see game with that, and we'll move on from there.
Have you been noticing that Roman's actually getting cheers? Like, not just like
yes,
not just
yes.
like not just like 70% of cheers. Like, it seems like people are they're actually taking to Roman. Like, they actually legitimately.
I made mention of that. I actually made mention of that, Drew, on my SmackDown review that I recorded earlier today. And this was also a directive to all the idiots out there that were fucking bitching because Buddy Murphy didn't go over on that match.
Which, come on.
And that, yeah, honestly. I mean, I said all I needed to say in that review, but Roman is actually getting shielded again. And you know what? I think that helps his confidence out a lot. Because, you know, him getting booed, that had to rock him a lot, too. You know, that had to bother him. Oh, and you know what? Naturally. I think it did. And I think it bothered him because, yeah, he made mention of it in a few interviews and stuff in years past. I mean, Jesus Christ, he was pushed, like, he was shoved down everybody's throats for the past 5 years. But now it seems like everybody's starting to take a liking to Roman again, which is awesome to see. It kind of tells me too that WWE's kind of learning from past mistakes with Roman Reigns. So, and you know what, Roman looks more comfortable now. He looks more comfortable in the position that he's in now.
Well, you know what I learned was that when I was on Julian's show last week, he actually filled me in on this. Was that Roman was actually starting to get cheered, and I think it was on like a SmackDown or a Raw. And Vince was actually confused because he told the production truck to lower the volume and pipe in cheers, but he was already getting cheered.
I just think it's just. I don't know who said that. I think it might have been Rob that said this, but it's like a knee-jerk reaction because of, you know, the last 5 years of Roman's push. They had to do that. Now they kind of don't have to because it's all organic, which, you know what, I hope they keep building up this. I hope they keep building Roman like this because I like it. And we all know Roman Reigns is good. We all know Roman Reigns is good in the ring. We know that Roman Reigns is a top guy. But having him be the babyface that he was supposed to be, then and having it not be forced down everybody's throats, that's a good thing. That really is a good thing in the long run. You know what? Hopefully they keep doing what they're doing with this. And I think I'm going to make mention of another person with this next match as well.
Yes, let's get to it. Bray Wyatt debuted as The Fiend against Finn Balor. Holy fuck. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a debut of a character. And, you know, Finn's not exactly new. He's been on the roster for about 6 years. But, I mean, if you want to count Husky Harris, that makes it like 9 years. But we haven't seen a character debut like this in a while. The Fiend debuts like a very similar, kind of like an Undertaker-esque entrance. He comes out wearing the Tom Savini mask, for all you horror fans out there. the lantern he carries is actually the severed head of Bray Wyatt, which I thought was so fucking cool. I'm not even gonna lie, I actually legit got creeped out, during the entrance. I thought it was so fucking cool. The music is actually his old theme, but revised by a different band, which is actually a metal band from your neck of the woods, actually, in Pittsburgh, Code Orange.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Code Orange is Neil May. Nice.
Yeah. I actually learned about this from John Draper. Yeah, they sing the theme, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, I liked it. I liked that they gave it that metal, edge to it.
And WWE actually, and I don't know what, but WWE, for everybody that wants to check out the new theme for Bray Wyatt, WWE posted on their official music channel, so go check that out. It's a real good listen. But that's something that you might be interested in regards to the severed head of the quote unquote severed head lantern of Bray Wyatt. WWE edited it out. They took it out on the initial with their initial entrance. They took down the first upload of the entrance and they re-uploaded it without the severed head. So we'll probably see some censorship already with this character, and that is honestly gonna kill this character. And I hope they don't continue down the path that they did with this. But night of this debut, though, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. This was the best fucking re-debut that I think I've seen in a long time. I mean, Bray Wyatt the entrance itself looked intimidating as fuck. It looked so damn awesome. And it even got holy shit chants from the Toronto crowd. It even got holy shit chants from the Toronto crowd. And the match itself was what it was supposed to be. Now, Finn Balor did get some offense in, but in all actuality, the entire match was all Bray Wyatt. It was all Bray Wyatt, like it should have been, because of the intimidation factor of the Fiend. And ultimately, ends up beating Finn with the mandible claw, or using it as a pin combo, which was interesting to see. So, shout out to Bray Wyatt for reinventing that. But, yeah, honestly, I mean, this was a hell of a fucking spot, and I really hope they continue down this path with him. I hope they continue down this, Fiend persona / the Firefly Funhouse persona that he portrays on television. I think, and this is part how I do it, have Bray Wyatt be the Firefly Funhouse guy, appearing on the shows and stuff, with the Firefly Funhouse gimmick. But in the actual matches, have him be the Fiend.
Yes.
And the actual blow-offs to the feud. That could work. That could work.
Like, have it be similar, to what Mick Foley did, the 3 phases of Foley. He was, he beat Cactus Jack one week. He was always Mankind for the most part. And then he brought in Dude Love. So, what I think would be...
I'll be honest. And I gotta be honest with you. If they could let Bray Wyatt continue, doing the severed head lamp, I think that might have been a one-time thing anyway. But if they continue doing the severed headlamp thing, and what they did with the entrance itself, like they did Sunday, it's gotta be at a late hour so the kids are tucked away in bed, so they don't have to see, the horror fest of the Fiend, which is what it should be. That was probably the most perfect way to re-debut that character, and it worked to perfection, man, and the fucking guy was over as Rover.
Yes.
And honestly, WWE, if you're listening to this show, and if you're listening to my show, don't fuck this up this time around.
Well, a nice way to segue into this. The reason why, Bray Wyatt didn't appear on Raw or SmackDown because WWE kind of wants to save that mystique. They don't just want to, especially with the reactions they got at SummerSlam, they realized, okay, we got something, we got lightning in a bottle. So we're going to keep them off TV for a bit and then bring them back for when we need to bring them back. For the most part, we're probably going to, they're probably going to bring in the Firefly Funhouse, gimmicks. But as far as like the Fiend goes, that seems like something that they're going to keep off TV for a while until they can find his next big opponent. Which, good. Like, fucking good. Like, don't just treat this as, this is any other character. Or don't do what, you always do, WWE, where it's like, okay, you like this? You like The Fiend? We're going to give him 20 minutes of TV time. We're going to put him out every week. We're going to have him come out on SmackDown. It's like, no. Less is more. Like, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Make us want him more. Like, the more you keep him off TV, the more we're going to want him back. You know what I mean?
And that is a smart move. That is a smart move, honestly. I mean, I would have much rather see Bray Wyatt off TV than have him be oversaturated.
Like, and also, I don't know if you listen to Texas Podcast Massacre. Tyler.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you listen to Texas Podcast Massacre?
No, but I should.
Okay, Kevin Castle was on last week, and this is an episode they did before SummerSlam, and he actually brought up the idea of having the Fiend be a tweener, like don't just have him go after faces for the most part, have him go out there and attack heels, like it would be like I think he would get another huge pop if he went out there and just randomly attacked Baron Corbin, like that would be so fucking off the chain.
That would be that. I'd like to see that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, have him attack Shane McMahon, or just have.
Honestly, that's how it should be. And you know what? That's having him attack Shane McMahon. That could actually be perfect for him. That actually could be perfect for that character. But honestly, I mean, if you really think about it, yeah. I mean, don't have this be a heel character. Have this be no one is safe. Whether you're a heel or a face, you are not safe from the Fiend. And you know what? That is perfect fucking booking. So, shout out to you, Kevin Castle. That is fucking perfect booking, my friend. Honest to God.
Yeah. Best way to make this character the biggest thing in WWE.
It's perfect fucking booking. And you know what? Honestly, in the long run, this helps Bray Wyatt big fucking time. Because I'm pretty sure Bray Wyatt never thought in a million years he'd get that type of reaction ever again.
I mean, Bray Wyatt was always popular with the fans. Fans always liked him regardless.
Right. But the problem was that WWE kept dropping the ball with him repeatedly up until now, where they're actually doing something with him again. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised at all if it came out that Paul Heyman was also pushing this as well.
This has Paul Heyman written all over it.
And you know what, too? And you also got some driving forces behind it as well, with Triple H, of course, and The Undertaker. So, that helps.
Really? Really? Undertaker?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know, like, that would be interesting. That'd be interesting if you found out that The Undertaker had some influence on this. Like, not as far as, like, Bray going, hey, I copied my character from The Undertaker. More like, Mark Calloway as a person stepped in and gave Bray Wyatt advice on how to make this character the way it is. That would be interesting.
And I also think, too, probably 90% of this stuff is Bray Wyatt himself, so...
Oh, yeah.
Wendell Mortunda is a sick fucking genius, man, and I love it. I fucking love it.
Alright, so going on to the main event of the show, Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar to win back the Universal title. Overall, we can all agree, really good match, really good back and forth. The match was about 12 minutes, I believe. Which was, surprising for a Brock match, because we expected this to be at least maybe under 10 minutes. But
I kind of thought that this was going to be a John Cena type situation from SummerSlam 2014, in which Seth Rollins would go out there, get squashed by Brock with 12 German suplexes or whatever the fuck, and then F5, and then game over for him, and then back to the mid-card goes Seth. But I'm actually honestly shocked that Seth Rollins actually is the Universal Champion. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked, but again, that was shocking, but it's just like, we're shocked by it, but we're also like, wait, Seth Rollins is supposed to have broken ribs, quote unquote, and yet he's doing a frog splash off the top rope onto a table and he gets up like nothing happened.
Yeah, I don't get. Yeah, see, I get that. That's what tones you off, Seth Rollins too. That's the main tone off of the guy is that. And I'm not just blaming him. And I'm not just blaming him. This goes for all the other guys as well that do flips and kicks and dives and stuff. Sell the fucking injury. Learn how to fucking sell. That is what makes your matches more believable. Why do you think logical people like you, me, the boys over Wrestling Soup, and all the other guys that is in this family, why do we say that the Young Bucks matches are basically one and the same? They'll flips, they'll kicks, they'll dives, they'll no-sells. That's it. And you know what? That's what you get with every Seth Rollins match as well. And this isn't an attack on him personally. This is mainly just constructive criticism. Sell the fucking injury. Why are you doing a frog splash from the fucking top rope to the announce table where Brock was like, why are you doing a frog splash if you're supposed to have broken ribs or a lacerated spleen or whatever the fuck was going on there?
Because he's Seth Rollins. He's the champion of the people. If I can do an impression of his really terrible Raw promo from last week, I guarantee I will walk into SummerSlam.
Yeah, that was bad. Well, I mean, I'll tell you this. He kind of redeemed himself this week on Raw with the promo he gave too, but he's not good. He's not a top guy, man. And honestly, I mean, I would have settled for another Brock title run at least for another month. Unless they have something else planned for the guy. I mean, what in the long run, what was this going to lead Seth? Honestly, unless if Drew McIntyre wins the King of the Ring, and I pitched the idea of having that be a contendership match, if you will, like the winner of the King of the Ring gets to have a shot at either the Universal Champion or the WWE Champion on that brand. And if Drew McIntyre wins, because since he's a Raw guy, he faces Seth Rollins for the Universal title, why not have Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins and have him become the Universal Champion? Tell the story of Drew McIntyre finally becoming the King of the Mountain. That's what I would love to see. Because I don't care about Seth Rollins that much. I know a lot of people don't care about Drew McIntyre either. I like Drew McIntyre. I always thought the guy could have been a world champion in this company. But for some reason, the WWE dropped the ball hard on him. And whether it be creative differences on both sides, or maybe it was just him attitude-wise, I don't know. But honestly, if this guy, Drew McIntyre, if this guy isn't your Universal Champion by the end of 2019, then what the fuck are you doing with the guy?
I think he does have the tangibles to be a top guy, and to agree with Sacha Baron Corbin in the chat, he has he's missing a personality. He has everything.
He is.
I think the consensus about Drew McIntyre, from what I heard about everybody, whether it's Soup or DTKC or, I'm not. I mean, you just said it too. He has everything. He has the look. He has a look that Vince in the company loves. He can wrestle. He's actually a lot better than he used to be. But he's missing something, and I think it's a personality. The whole I'm gonna scream into the mic and talk like a tough guy, like that doesn't work all the time. That gets old very quick.
Give him a good character. Just give him this Scottish psychopath. You know what? If you want to make him the Scottish psychopath, make him an actual fucking crazy person. Don't fucking give this idea that, oh, he's a Scottish psychopath and he yells at the mic. Like you said, he yells at the mic and stuff. That's not going to get you forward. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, we're saying that shit about Randy Orton, for fuck's sake. But then again, here's the thing. Randy Orton is a 13-time champion. Drew McIntyre hasn't done really anything in this company besides be a tag champion and, you know, Intercontinental champion, his first one with the company, which, damn, I mean, basically, if you think back on it, I mean, shit. That guy, they were pushing that guy for a little while there until whatever happened, and then it was basically a jobber.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a Drew McIntyre title run, but again,
I wouldn't like. You know what, Drew McIntyre though, long run, he's a more believable top guy. He's a more believable face of the company than Seth Rollins will ever will be.
You know what? I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna have to agree with you.
That's it. Like, honestly, Seth Rollins is more suited for the mid-card. That's it.
You know, and this is what I always do with a lot of guys. I go with the airport tests. Like, if you go to the airport, let's just say you weren't a wrestling fan, Tyler. Like you were familiar with it, but you didn't really watch it. You see Seth Rollins, what's your first thought?
He's just a regular guy.
He's just a regular in shape guy. You know, keeps his body in shape. You know, obviously, but you don't
does CrossFit. He's one of these CrossFit dudes.
Like, you know, like basically, you don't really think much of him. He just looks like a regular in shape guy. You see Drew McIntyre. You see this big 6'3", 6'4" guy who's like in intense shape. What do you think when you see a guy like that?
He's a professional wrestler.
Or not even really a professional wrestler, but you see him and you go, that guy's something. That guy looks like he's something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
See, and that's the thing too. Like I said, Seth Rollins is not a believable top guy. He's not. He's not a believable main eventer. He's not a believable face of the company. Drew McIntyre, on the other hand, is.
But again, you know, Drew McIntyre, he needs a personality before they can really insert him to that spot, because you know how WWE is. They like to do talky with everybody. You know what? They did it with Braun, and they ruined him, and now they're trying to redeem him. And, you know, I don't know.
He's getting the United States, and he's getting the United States title match, by the way. I don't know. Did we mention that already? That he's getting the United States, that he's having AJ facing off for the United States title. Yeah,
basically how Raw ended was the main event ended up being Rollins versus AJ Styles. The club got involved. I believe Ricochet got involved. And then that's when Braun randomly came out and took out the club, and they announced for next week that's going to be Braun versus AJ for the title.
That felt, which it did. It made no sense at all why Braun would even help Seth Rollins unless he was getting something with Torn, which obviously he is, which is the Universal Championship, not the Universal Championship, the United States Championship too. You know what? I think that's going to end in fuckery, too. That's easily going to be a 6-man tag. That's easily going to be changed to a 6-man tag match. I can tell you that. I could sit here and tell you that right now. And you know what? We'll watch Raw on Monday, and the club gets it. Because you know the club's going to get involved. And you know, Seth Rollins and Ricochet are going to get involved. So I would not be surprised at all if that ends up being a 6-man tag.
Like, I have a feeling that will open the show, and like you said, the club will get involved, and then Seth Rollins, and then Ricochet, and then you have whomever. Or it'll probably be one of those things where, like, you know, Michael Cole will say, you know, breaking news, the main event's going to be a 6-man tag. And then right. And then Renee just randomly goes, oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, Jesus. I mean...
Oh, no. Oh.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
I agree with you, Corey. Oh, Corey, that's mean.
Yeah. So fucking terrible, man. Honestly. I feel bad. And I feel bad because she actually knows she's bad, too. So, like, honestly, I mean, and I think that's another conversation for another time, honestly.
Yeah, we could probably go 30 minutes with that one, or even an hour. But
yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, I only got 3 hours for Spreaker. But okay, that was SummerSlam.
Finally, we got through SummerSlam. Huh? Jesus Christ, boy.
Yeah. So I guess we kind of talked about Raw. Didn't really talk about SmackDown too much. We didn't really talk about SmackDown too much.
I mean, where do we begin with that? I mean, talk about the obvious, Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy.
That is a match of the year candidate.
Yes, I agree.
Going back to our Roman Reigns conversation, that's where I started noticing that Roman Reigns is actually getting cheered. And, not like, we're cheering him ironically. We're like, they're legit cheering him, which is good. A top guy needs to get cheered. He can't just have indifference or, 50-50. If he's the top guy, he needs to get cheered. And what I really appreciated in this match from Roman was, I don't know if this was Roman's call or if it was someone in the back. They actually, Roman actually used his top guy status to elevate Buddy Murphy.
Right.
Which I like, because this match easily could have been like a bitch out match. Like Roman could have just gone out there and made Buddy look like a bitch, but he made Buddy look like his equal. And did you see?
You know what?
And that fucking spear. And you saw that fucking spear? Like Jesus! Like Buddy really took a spear.
Buddy sold that shit to perfection. He sold that shit to perfection. But if you look closely too, Roman Reigns also flipped over as well. If you look at it, get for him in slow motion, Roman fucking flipped over as well for that spear. But yeah, I mean, I can't say it any better. I mean, that was a star-making performance. That was a star-fucking-making performance. And you know what? I kind of hope this leads to next week. Buddy Murphy versus Daniel Bryan, because of what we've seen with later on in the night last night, of course, with Rowan continuing the beatdown of Buddy Murphy until Buddy Murphy admitted that he lied about Rowan being the attacker. And I got an idea and I got something to pitch to you, Drew Yari, about how they should go along with this, because. And I said this on Twitter. I even said this in my review earlier today. Daniel Bryan teased that. Well, by the way, about the match itself, I don't think it's happening because Buddy Murphy is in the King of the Ring tournament. So unless they throw in Daniel Bryan in the last minute, I highly doubt that match is happening. They'll probably get involved in somehow though. So, but Bryan teased that him and Rowan found the attacker for Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Now, they got two options. They either go the lazy route, which I kind of figure they probably will be doing, and have Bryan say, "Oh, it was me all along. I wanted to take you out so I could be the top guy on SmackDown." Or you can still use that same storyline, but have somebody from the outside that did it. As a how done for Daniel Bryan. And I got one person in mind. Somebody we haven't seen on TV in about a year or so. Want to know who it is?
Go ahead.
Luke Harper.
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea.
I would. How I do it. So I'd have Roman standing in the ring. Bryan and Rowan come out. They say that Bryan says that Rowan didn't do it. Bryan says he didn't do it. And then from out of the crowd or whatever, Harper blindsides Roman Reigns. And hits the discus clothesline on him and basically just goes full-blown assailant on Roman Reigns. And it comes out that Bryan made a phone call to Luke Harper to take out Roman so he could be the top guy in the company. So not just Bryan, but Harper and Eric Rowan as well, because Roman Reigns has held down all three of them throughout their entire careers. So that's a story you could go along. That's something I would do. It's something creative, but honestly, like I said, they're probably going to go to the lazy route. They'll probably just have Daniel Bryan say, "Oh, I did it," and basically we'll get the blow-off match at either Clash Champions or one of the Masters Group Owen show.
I like your idea. It could work, because I've always liked Luke Harper, but it seems like they never have anything to do for him. Like, he could easily... I don't want to go, like... I don't want to be dramatic and say he could be the top guy in the company, but he could be something for your company. Like, he looks like a legit tough guy, and I think the first time when I saw Eric Rowan, pair up with Daniel, my first thought was, that could be a Luke Harper spot. That could have been something you could have given Luke Harper. Now with your idea, that it ends up being Luke Harper, that makes sense. Because if they go the lazy route and you just have Daniel for weeks saying it wasn't me, and then he just comes out and says, you know what, it was me, I just lied. That makes Daniel look bad. That makes his character look bad. I doubt Daniel would want to do something like that for his character.
Right.
I doubt the company would want to do that for Daniel's character. So they're going to.
Daniel Bryan basically has creative control with his character at this point. What he wants to do, what he wants to happen on TV, and stuff like that. So honestly, I could honestly see it happening, but I just don't have any faith in this company. I really don't.
Yeah, again, it doesn't. Luke Harper sounds like a good idea. Do you see them maybe bringing in someone from NXT as the alleged attacker?
Not really. Not really. I can't really. I can't really see that. I can't really see another call up for NXT. I'm kind of done with these call ups for now, to be completely honest with you. I could go a full year without an NXT call up. Let's just put it that way. Because if I run down the list of guys in that NXT roster, the only one I could probably think of is Killian Dane, but Dane is already in a feud with Matt Riddle, so I can't see that happening. So Luke Harper to me makes the most sense because aside from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania this past year, we haven't really seen Luke Harper at all.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Since last year when Rowan went down with that torn triceps and they had to miss a year, and basically which forced Luke Harper to miss a significant amount of time. And also too, if you think about it, also we haven't really seen him also since he requested his release and was denied his request by WWE. So that's also that's another thing too to think about. So. Honestly, if you want to give something, this guy something to do, you don't want this guy defecting to, the other competition, then do that storyline. That could help out, that really could help out Luke Harper. And you know what, too? If you really think about it, that it basically kind of is a new Riot family. Well, if you add Luke Harper into the mix.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, it's basically a new Wyatt family, but with Daniel Bryan instead of Bray Wyatt. Because if you really think about it, Bray Wyatt has distanced himself from Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. So I can honestly see it happening. I really could. And you know what? I hope it does. It makes the most sense. And at the end of the day, who else do you have? Who else do you have? But like you said, Bryan ain't going to go along with what the lazy route because I think he wants what's best creatively for the storyline. So
Yeah, it certainly makes sense. Did you want to go over the King of the Ring bracket real quick and then bounce out?
Sure.
All right, so they announced on Monday that they're bringing back the King of the Ring, not as a pay-per-view event, but it's going to start next week with a multitude of matches. There's 16 competitors, 8 Raw guys, 8 SmackDown guys. I'm just going to go down the list. I guess I'll start with SmackDown. So with SmackDown, it's going to be Ali, Andrade, Apollo Crews, Buddy Murphy, Chad Gable, Elias, Kevin Owens, and Shelton Benjamin. For Raw, it's going to be Baron Corbin, Cedric Alexander, Cesaro, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Ricochet, Sami Zayn, and Samoa Joe. Out of all these guys, who do you think is more realistically going to win?
It's gotta be Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. I mean,
I would like to see Drew McIntyre, like I mentioned before, with, us talking about Seth Rollins being the main event at SummerSlam, which was Seth Rollins beating Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. I made mention of Drew McIntyre winning King of the Ring, and I can honestly see it happening because really that is a notch you could give this guy, and it could work, and it could fit. It really could. King, Baron Corbin really doesn't fit for me. And you know what? I would not be surprised if they gave that fucking thing, if they gave this fucking thing to Corbin too. I wouldn't be surprised. That would be hell.
Don't say that because somebody might hear it. Please.
Yeah. So.
You know who would be another guy?
If anybody's listening, let it be Drew McIntyre.
You know who would be another interesting choice would be Andrade.
See, I don't see that. I really don't see it. I don't. It could happen, but yeah, I mean, unless if you have stakes, you got. This is the thing. You gotta have stakes. You gotta have these guys have either a future shot at, either a championship of their choosing or the championship of their brand, a future shot at the world championship of the brand. They gotta have stakes with this King of the Ring. They gotta learn from the past mistakes. This isn't a fucking gimmick. This is basically a chance to make a new Star Wars. And you could do that. Or you could have an excuse to have a legitimate number one contender, which that's where Drew McIntyre comes in. Have him run through this King of the Ring tournament and have him contend for the Universal title and beat Seth Rollins for the Universal title at Clash Champions. That's how I do it, and that's how it should be. This should be a tournament to, determine a number one contender for a championship of that brand, a world championship of that brand. That's how it was for years, up until they went away from that for whatever the fucking reason, and they made it into this weird ass fucking gimmick that didn't get anybody over, and it ended up killing their career in the long run. Just ask Bad News Barrett.
Yeah, I remember that because I remember he beat what's his name, Neville, which
yes,
Neville should have won that because again, this should be about building stars. That's what the King of the Ring was always about in the past. Anyone who won it became something. Austin won it, and Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass. Became something. Triple H won it and became something. Mankind didn't win it, right? Because he got beat by Triple H, right?
I don't think Mankind won it. Kurt Angle won it though.
Brock Lesnar won it. Bret Hart won it. Owen Hart won it. Edge. Billy Gunn won it, which was odd because he never did anything after that. But yeah, this should be about let's build up our next big star. And Drew McIntyre is, we both agree he's the next big star. He's capable of being their next big star. He looks like what a wrestler should be. What a big, tough guy wrestler should be. And, I think he should win it. I wouldn't be mad if he won it. I like Andrade. Andrade would be my second choice, but I think Drew McIntyre should be the odds-on favorite.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. If they continue with the King of the Ring, which I hope they do, they can have Andrade win it next year, either next year or maybe, you know what? Bring back the King of the Ring pay-per-view, hold it in July, and have that be determine the main event for SummerSlam.
Yeah, kind of like how they used to do it back in the past, because, if you remember, Brock had won King of the Ring, and then he wanted to face The Rock at SummerSlam in 2002, and won it. That's how you book it. That's how you book King of the Ring. Bring it back as a pay-per-view. Bring it back as a pay-per-view in the summer, get rid of whatever bullshit pay-per-view you have in the summer, like Stomping Grounds or whatever, and just
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules, because, you only have 3 matches that are extreme and the rest of them are wrestling matches. Just get rid of that, and just put King of the Ring there. That's a dope pay-per-view. It always has been. I've always been a fan of tournaments. That's something I've always been a big fan of, and, I'm glad that they're bringing it back. Or, you know what? It'd be another good idea. Have it be a network special.
Yes.
Film it at Full Sail, or... Yeah, Full Sail would be an interesting choice. Have it be a network special, one day only for 2 hours. You could just see the best wrestling there is, and just have all their matches be on the same day. Treat it like a sports tournament.
If you really want to make it special, though, have that tournament be in Blackpool, England.
Ooh.
Or in London.
Okay. I like where you're going.
At the O2. At the O2 Arena. That could work. I mean, you think King, you think England. So that would make sense to have at the O2.
I was gonna say, also choose your biggest, crowds. Have, film one part in Philadelphia, film one part in Brooklyn, film one part in Chicago. Or, if you want to go old school, Charlotte, North Carolina, or Minnesota.
Yes.
Have film it in front of your bigger wrestling crowds, and then have the final 8 competitors. I'll take your idea. Have the final 8 competitors. Film it as a 2-hour special in London. Say the best way to crown a king is in front of the king of London, or whatever you want to call it, and have it be a special on the network, in front of,
Well, the Queen of it. The best way to crown a king is in front of the Queen of England.
Yeah,
or the royal family. Yep, bring that up. Yeah.
What better to crown a king than in front of an actual king or a queen? So you can do that. That's a great idea. Again, this is what we want to happen, but it probably won't ever happen. WWE, they're so set in their ways that, you pitch them a good idea, and it's they either don't want to do it or they're too lazy to do it.
Oh, here's how I do it, too. You could still have the King of the Ring pay-per-view, but hold the actual tournament on Raw and SmackDown, and have the winners of the brackets on each show face in the main event of King of the Ring to determine the main event of SummerSlam.
Makes sense.
That could work too. So that way you don't oversaturate that pay-per-view with, your semifinals and your finals and all that stuff. Just hype it up as something that is worth watching.
Absolutely, man. Is there anything else you wanted to go over before we head out?
Not really.
All right, Tyler, man, I appreciate you being on the show.
No, hey, Drew, thank you, man. Honestly, let's do this again sometime.
Absolutely, man. We can do it on your show, my show. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man.
Yep, it was a pleasure talking to you. I got some plugs that I want to go over real quick. Follow me on Twitter at Ty the Trademark, Instagram Trademark_show, Facebook.com/The Trademark Show. And also follow my Discord. I'll link you guys up on the Discord, on this Discord server as well. It's also in my chat in my bio for Twitter on Twitter as well. So just check that out. Probably gonna do some more stuff with the Discord as a whole. So if you're interested, check that out as well. And that's all I got. And check out episode 9 of Trademark Show. That will go up on Saturday. Be on the lookout for that. And also go look for, and also listen to my Raw and SmackDown reviews that I did past couple days. And, of course, my most recent being the SmackDown review I did earlier today.
All right, make sure to look out for a show. Make sure to look out for a show on Spreaker as well. We're both part of the Spreaker family.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be about it, man. Thanks, Tyler, again for being on the show.
Not a problem, Drew.
All right, man. Take care.
Take it easy, man.
All right. Some plugs and some shout-outs before I sign off. Tyler, of course. Listen to a show on Spreaker. Wrestling Soup. Every Thursdays on Mixlr. You can also find them on Discord. If you're a patron, you can also sign up. You can also get invited to their Discord for just $5. You can also get original content like Global Bonding with John Draper, DTKC, Don Tony and Kevin Castle every Monday after Raw. Sign up for their Patreon. You can, for just as much as $2, I believe. You can also sign up for their Discord channel. You can get original shows like Breakfast Soup with Wrestling Soup's Mish and DTKC. Or Don Tony, I believe. Also, Kevin Castle has 2 shows. He has a solo show, Castle Chronicles, and then Dark Chronicles with our good friend Shrez. Texas Podcast Massacre with Mitch, Nate, and Lisa, good friends of the show. I was on that show twice. Kevin Castle just made his 3rd appearance on the show. If you're into horror movies, these guys do the job for you. These guys are great. They're hilarious. They do hilarious commentary on each movie. If you're a horror nerd like me, you'll really enjoy this. The Architect Podcast with my friend Derek and his friend Irving. You can find that pretty much anywhere where podcasts are put out. They were actually on my show back in April. We reviewed Endgame. That was a lot of fun. So look out for them. The Peter Position with my friend Peter. You can find his podcast on Spotify, and I believe he has them on other platforms. I was on his podcast where we reviewed Mania, and that was a lot of fun. So look out for his podcast. I'm probably forgetting names. If I'm forgetting names, I'm sorry. Pretty much anyone who supports the show and shows love to the show. I'll be back here next Wednesday like I always am. And also, for anyone who's interested, episode 100 of this show, this podcast, will be September 18th. So I encourage you guys to leave your questions. Nothing's off limits. I'll answer any question you throw at me. Just don't ask me how big Batista's dick is. I'm not going to answer that. Well, I'll answer it. It's about like maybe 5 inches. I'm just playing. But yeah, just Twitter GRE show. You can actually email me on the show's email and just leave your questions there. You can also leave them in this Discord channel, which if you need the link for it, it's actually on my Twitter. So on my Twitter, the GRE show, or at the GRE show, just click on the link from my Discord and join up. Other than that, that is it. Again, I will see you next Wednesday, same time, same channel, and I will upload this as fast as I can to Spreaker. And that is all. Later, guys.